phone?
She just doesn't have her video on, but she's.
Oh, I see. I never see all the members at the same time. Got it. Okay.
And then we have Telesco on, I think, as a phone call listener, so.
Okay, great. So if we could call the meeting to order with a roll call, if you could all state your name for the record, that would be great. It's Mark Allen, Chair.
Peter Smith, voting member.
Nori Gruden, treasurer.
Melissa Matuska, voting member.
Kadeem Roberts, voting member.
Matthew O'Callaghan, voting member.
And Helen and Bob, you can state your name for the roll call. Bob is on mute. Bob needs to unmute. There we go. Bob, if you could state your name for the record.
Riola, voting member.
And Helen, please. Helen is muted still.
Damn, Mark, that beard is growing.
Yeah, I know it's out of control. Helen, you're still muted. If you can unmute your mic, or Sabrina, if you could take care of that.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Thank you. Thanks everybody for coming.
Okay.
For the record, we don't have anybody here for public participation, and Kadeem is here on a limited time period because he's got a caucus meeting for the Common Council. So we would like to move in the agenda to item 4B, which is the discussion for the vice chairman role, if everybody's okay with that, so that we can have a vote before Kadeem needs to leave.
Maybe I missed something, but who else was on that? Who else was nominated for that?
Well, nobody
considered it anyway.
Nobody has been nominated yet, in the technically speaking. So in the last meeting that we had, Peter had officially stepped down, and we discussed, who might take the role. In that time period, Emerson had contacted me privately and saying that he was interested. And then at that time, Bob Abriola reached out to me, very passionately interested as well. And in the offline discussions about that, Emerson decided not to pursue it. And so far, Bob is the only one on record as telling me that he's interested. So
I'd like to go ahead and nominate Bob. He was the guy I had in mind when I decided I wanted to step down. I think he's done an amazing job in a short period of time. Particularly the stuff that's going on at Washington Street is like a bomb going off. It's a smash hit. So love all that. He's passionate, he's interested. He's got a lot of energy, a lot of experience. To me, it's a no-brainer, and I'm just grateful that he's willing to do it.
I would like to second that nomination. Met Bob roughly last year, but just his extensive work within the city is amazing. Walking through Sono, you can see his artwork. Walking through the mall, you can see his artwork. But his passion for just art in general, his creativity is amazing. And if you sit down and just walk around the city of Norwalk, I had a chance to sit down and walk around with him to different parts of the area and just to hear his vision, it's amazing. So he's going to definitely put forth a wonderful contribution within this commission and within the city, and probably well on the state of Connecticut. So I second that nomination.
Are there any other, anybody else would like to speak on this matter or discuss it, or anybody else has other nominations that would like to be heard?
I had thought of Nori, because she's been with us so long and knows so much about what's been going on forever. But
So I have,
maybe she doesn't.
I'm good with being the treasurer.
Okay, Dawn.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking, Melissa, if she, with the baby now and he's a little bit older, go back to the role that she had. She was doing that, she was chairwoman until, she relinquished it because of having Miles. I don't know if
Yeah.
she's interested in doing vice chair, or even if Emerson has a second thought, because this was all last month. Emerson raised his hand, and now we're voting on Bob, so it's kind of like, to me, short notice a little
Yeah.
bit.
I felt that way. I love Bob's work and I love Bob, but
Yeah.
it's
He's a
just
great artist.
that it should be the way it should be, you know.
Well, can I say something to avoid what happened last time? I think we should stick to it and say, if there's no nominations, then we should just vote. If there are other nominations, then we should ask Bob and that person to withdraw while we discuss. Because the last time we did this, it was like icky.
Well, we'll need to vote on that nomination regardless. If there is another nomination,
I would like to say something. This is Melissa.
please.
Nori, that was extremely sweet of you to say. However, I will say with Miles and everything going on right now that, and as you can hear in the background, I don't know if I would have the time as much as I would love to be able to put forth that time.
Okay.
But thank you for the kind words.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we have a lot of good people.
Well, that is disappointing, Melissa, because I was with Nori. I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes. Welcome, Janet.
Thank
Please state your
you.
name for the roll call so we know.
Yeah, Janet Evelyn, voting member. And I'm traveling at the moment, so I'm mobile, so I'm not quite sure what my connection is. But, I also contend with Nori that, given Melissa's tenure and given the fact that she had been in that role before, that, she would be a very good person again for that role. And so I would have nominated her as Nori has done, but certainly understand the what she has just expressed with regards to her timing. But
Okay. Well, thank you for that. So in the absence of any other nominations, I'd like to call a roll call vote. If you could state your name and your vote, please. It's Mark Allen, aye.
Peter Smith, aye.
Melissa Matuska, I vote for Bob. Thank you, Janet, though.
Dean Robert, aye for Bob.
Helen for Bob.
Matthew
Nori for Bob.
O'Callahan, aye for Bob.
Okay. Emerson?
Janet Evelyn, no for Bob.
Emerson Striniti, I abstain my vote.
Okay.
Well, we can do that. I'll abstain.
So we have Peter, Mark, Kadeem, Matt, or Helen, you're an aye.
Yeah.
5, and Melissa 6. We have a quorum. So welcome Bob as vice chairman.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Okay. Kadeem, how long can you stay with us? You're okay? I can't hear you.
I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm here for
Okay.
like 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
Mark, do you need me? Is there another vote that you need my participation on, or anything else? Oh, I know. We were supposed to do an update for the Martin Luther King corridor.
Yeah. If nobody has any objections, and then being that you're on the road, as a matter of infrastructure committee, could we get a brief update on the MLK project so everybody's apprised?
Yeah, okay, yeah. So We had a couple of tours. Mark and I met with Julio Prado as a potential curator for the project. Julio would, would be an ideal person as the curator because of, the works that he had done with the Arts Commission, whether it was the traffic boxes or the current project that he's currently completing now for the Ryan Park art installation. He's done an amazing job at that. He's expressed that he is very interested in curating the project, and as a committee lead, I want to, I don't know if we need to nominate him or we have to vote, or if I could just say that I want to bring him on as the curator, as a project, whichever way it is, but I think that he would be the ideal person to do it. He, because of what he has done in the past with a number of these other projects, he was able to bring a tremendous amount of insight in terms of, just processes and framework and how we should go about putting this project together, including, what should come first, second, last, and things like that. So some of these items included him scouting locations, vetting locations, finding out whether they're public properties or private properties, so forth and so on. And that would be a first step. So we're currently working on identifying some properties or locations, I would say, for potential locations, which those locations will then have to be vetted. And then from there, we would be looking to develop ideas around themes and then we would look to bring in, a group of potential artists that could facilitate, or do the artwork itself. So that's where we are. Mark, you let me know if there's any kind of vote with regards to bringing Julio on as the curator, and that's the way I'd like to move forward.
Okay, I think that we need to have the committee meeting and offline and really decide if it's going to be one curator, if it's going to be multiple. I mean, we've discussed the idea that there could be multiple curators, so I don't think it's something that requires a vote right now. If it is a matter of where someone's going to be hired, then it would require a vote. But I think it has to get decided at the committee level first, and then brought before the Arts Commission as a voting agenda item. And we can't just do that willy-nilly. So, but thank you for the update.
You're
Mark,
welcome.
I didn't hear a cost for that. I'm assuming we would pay the curator.
Yeah, that's why I feel it's premature. As far as I know, that hasn't even decided yet. That's why I feel like that's committee level decision. We have to all come to agreement first before we sort of bring it to the end.
Also, Mark, depending on the amount of money you plan on paying them, we might have to do like a request for proposals from potential curators so that we meet the city's procurement standards.
Fair enough.
It depends. If it's over, you need one quote if it's over so many people, but then you have to go to full RFP if it's over so many dollars. So.
And for Julio to participate doesn't require a vote. It's only a question of whether he's being paid for a position.
Yep.
And
That's all.
Sabrina, that money comes from the grant the city got, the MLK grant?
It's not a grant. It's just a capital expense. But yeah, the $50,000 for capital.
Okay.
Capital budget.
Okay. Thank you, Janet.
Thank you, guys.
Going back to the
Ready.
Going back to the agenda, the first item on the agenda, really beyond the public participation, was to approve the minutes of the September 1st meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review those minutes that were in your email? And
Yes.
Is there anybody that has any items that need to be discussed from the agenda? I mean, from the minutes? And if not, is there a nomination for the approval of the minutes?
Motion to approve minutes.
I meant motion, not a nomination, yeah, but thank you. Is there a second motion for that?
Second it.
Aye.
I second it.
If we could vote by name, please. Mark Allen, aye on approval.
Bob Everett, aye. Approved.
Kadeem Roberts, aye on approval.
Peter
Nori
Smith,
Gruden,
aye.
aye.
Peter Smith, aye.
Melissa Matuska abstain. I missed the last meeting by accident.
Matthew Callahan, aye.
Emerson Strinidi, aye.
And no other abstentions, no negatives?
Helen Roman abstain.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the ayes have it and approve the minutes as presented. Item C on the administration part of the agenda. I've been feeling the last time we reorganized the committees or made an attempt to reorganize committees was last October 5th, roughly. I wanted to update you guys since Peter had stepped down as chairman of the communications committee. I've been dealing with Michelle pretty closely as far as social media goes. I think that given the fact that I deal with social media professionally and I'm a chronic networker, as you guys know, I think that it would be appropriate for me to be the head of the communications committee if there were no other objections. But I'm also considered the head of the infrastructure committee, and I sort of feel like, well, I know that I couldn't do both, certainly, and it wouldn't be appropriate anyway. I would like to talk about reorganizing these committees and see if there's anybody who would be interested in heading up the infrastructure committee in my place. That's what I'm suggesting would be a solution. The infrastructure committee deals with galleries, deals with art collections, it deals with things along those lines. I thought Janet could be a potential. I thought Bob could be a potential. But I think it's really important for us to really figure out now who is going to be solidly on infrastructure and who's going to be on communications. And so I'm really just opening up for discussion. Does anybody else have anything, thoughts on this matter? Don't everybody jump in at once.
Well, no, I was thinking, like you said, Bob has a lot of, if he has the bandwidth to do it, because he probably works full time, but he knows the galleries, he, is part of SPAG, and he'd be and he's doing stuff on Washington Street now, and he knows a lot of artists. He might be very good for infrastructure, again, if he has the bandwidth to do it. And then maybe ask Janet if she's interested in doing it, and then do a vote maybe next month.
Yeah, we can't really vote on this at this moment. It's really just, I want to just bring the item up for discussion and let you guys know in general that it's something that I feel like we need to do. I mean, with only 11 members, it's impossible for us to have two separate committees really with like completely independent structures. There's gonna be some overlap. But I think it's important that, the work continue on the infrastructure side. And I'm happy working with Michelle on the social media stuff and the communication stuff. As you guys know, I really want to get our newsletter kickstarted again. And I think that social outreach in general is a really good thing for us to really focus on. So I think that would be my focus at the communications committee. Bob, do you have any opinions on that? Do you have any interest in that? Or
I think I'd be happy to do it, but I'd love for the opportunity to be out to the whole group and give them the opportunity to step up. If somebody else would like to do it, I'd be a part of the infrastructure and help them. But I don't want to, volunteer to take it now if there's more people that may be interested, like Janet may want to do it or someone else may want to do it. So, would you be able to send out a note to the group and ask? if-
Sure. Yeah, I think, I mean, this is a matter, I'm opening it up for discussion, and we can have this discussion offline. If there's anybody that's feels like they don't have the time, it's certainly understandable. Emerson, you had been involved with infrastructure in the past. Do you have any interest in continuing along those lines?
I did. I think I do still want to be a member of the infrastructure committee, and the chairman role. What is it, a co-chair position before? I think I remember me, you, and Melissa met one time, but I think it was just a kind of a casual thing, just trying to form and understand it more. But that's something I would definitely consider.
Okay.
This is Melissa. Bob, I love that you did volunteer for it. I will say I feel like it would be nice to have more people in those leadership roles. So that way it's not too much on one person. And that way it's more ears and eyes and help and et cetera. So I did want to throw that out there. And I think Emerson did a great job when he was doing it with us. But I just wanted to mention, I mean, Bob, it's great that you volunteered, but more hands would be better, I think.
Yeah, I'm happy to be in the group to help. And if someone wants to lead it, by all means, let someone else lead it. That's fine.
Helen, did you have any interest in the infrastructure, being involved with the galleries as you have been, and the Mayor's Gallery, et cetera?
I did 3 years with Wallerstein and some with you, and I think I need a break.
Okay. You need a break from the infrastructure committee or any committees in general?
Any committee, right now, any committees, because I've gotten really busy with my own work.
Okay.
Who are the current members of the infrastructure committee? I can't really recall.
Say that again?
I said, who are the current members of the infrastructure committee? Who's been meeting?
Officially Janet and myself, and Melissa, you had been. I don't know do you still have interest in that?
I do have interest in staying on it.
Okay, good. So then it would be Janet, Emerson, up to now myself included, and now hopefully Bob. But I would like to switch to communication. Does anybody have any objections to me moving over to communications?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I think it's great because then you'll have the experience of working with infrastructure, and then you can also shed that light on communications. So I think it's great to actually be able to do different types of roles, while you're, doing these things.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so why don't we pick this up with some offline discussion, and I'll send out an email sort of summarizing this. Matt, you had expressed an interest in communications before, right? So you'd be somebody that we could turn to. Okay, and Nori, outside of being a treasurer, did you have any interest in participating with any of the committees?
Well, I have to do budget and communication, yes.
Okay, so there's no pressure. I just asking. It's cool. And Peter, I mean, you had sort of been de facto with communications. I understand the situation with work.
I can still do it.
Okay, good. Okay, great. Okay, and so I'm going to send out a summary email from this conversation, and we can just continue the discussions, and then we'll just finalize the committee structure next meeting. And Sabrina, that doesn't require a vote, right? I don't believe it does, but I'll confirm with her. Okay, great.
It's fine as it is. You don't need to vote until you've reorganized how you're going to do it.
Oh, but once we reorganize, we need a vote to ratify?
I would just approve the reorganization structure.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, great. I'd like to move on to item 5 for staff updates. If we can get a financial update from Nori.
Yes, we have, including the invoice that we just got from Michelle, our budget as of right now is $6,940. And that doesn't include the money we've allocated for the voting banners. So that's another $1,000 that we'd have to subtract. And Sabrina's going to be speaking, but she mentioned that we won't know about the rollover of last year's funds until November. correct, Sabrina?
And that's 6,940 minus $1,000 for the voting banners is through the end of June 2021?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. And Sabrina, do you have any additional information?
We were supposed to know about the rollovers this month because they go through the budget subcommittee of the Common Council. But then they postponed that conversation until November. So hopefully after that meeting, we'll know. But it's taking a little bit longer than usual. But I mean, I can't say if I think it's favorable or not because you won't really know yes or no until the meeting happens. But another thing to think about too is that the 2021-2022 budget season is starting right now. To start planning for kind of what we want to ask for. I had a couple things in mind, but if we want to do another capital request for another art type project, whether it's MLK again, or if it's some other neighborhood or area, it's something to start thinking about now.
Okay.
Because our requests go in by the end of kind of middle to end of next month before the holiday season starts. So.
Okay. Good to know. Okay. And then what was the potential amount that we were asking for again for that we would hear about in November?
I'm not sure of the exact total. I think it's around $7,000-ish though.
Right. Okay.
And
Okay.
when we request the funds for 21-22, if we have a staff member, Michelle, we should do her yearly salary. If she continues with us, I hope she does. And then go forward with the other stuff. Like, I don't think we need membership dues anymore.
Nope. So there's some things that you don't need. There's some things that you'll require. And then if that's something, I would suggest doing it in a way where you in a subcommittee say, you know, this is how much money we want allocated to each thing and then approve it formally for the request at a meeting. So hopefully the next meeting.
Okay.
And then that way I can make the request based on, you know, an approved actionable item that you guys took.
Okay.
Sabrina, I had noticed I was reading the old set of bylaws which were ratified in 2009, and there was something in there about how the Arts Commission had the right or the ability to hire an executive director who would not be like a voting member and would work like 19 to 20 hours a week. I thought that was really interesting because I had not heard about that previously. I don't know if that sort of is like what they were envisioning for the position that you now have.
Probably back then there was probably little to no staff in relation to the arts. So probably, I don't know.
Yeah, so it made me think that we should revisit the bylaws, but anyway, to bring those up to date as well. But anyway, okay, thank you guys. For the communications committee update.
It's 6:30.
Thank you. Communications update. Michelle and I have been working together, as I stated. One of the emails I sent to her was basically saying that I want to make sure that we are trying to approach as maximum diversity on the type of things we're posting. You know, we post a lot of great stuff about art. I want to make sure that we're really being diverse as far as the arts, keeping, you know, arts, whether it's music, dance, just trying to appeal to the broadest demographic of our arts community. And so that's something we're going to actively work on together as far as like finding more things to post about, you know, whether it's poetry or various disciplines, and not, you know, the mural stuff is real easy pickings, you know, because it's visually colorful and it's cool, but, you know, we want to make sure that we're really reaching the whole arts community in general. Otherwise, Michelle is doing a great job, as we all know, and you know, we're just going to continue trying to push that forward. And and then the updating the email list, we're going to be really trying to be focusing on that. We have a lot, I realize in our Google Drive, we have a lot of email addresses from various lists that have been built over the years. So I think we're just going to be trying to mine that and, send everybody an email that says, you're on our email list. Would you like to stay on and be a friend of the Arts Commission or opt out and so on. So we don't want to just assume that everybody's still a member, but. So for the Infrastructure Committee, Sabrina, did you have anything new as far as the public art policy or no, the mural issues?
No, I'm just waiting on Jess to review kind of that PowerPoint that goes through kind of the suggested process of how things will get approved.
Mm-hmm.
And once she does that, I have a sit-down meeting with the mayor's office and legal so that they can approve the process. So we have something to follow. So we're not stuck in this vicious cycle of waiting on legal for things. So that's where it's at.
So, there was a public art application that I found within the Google Drive of what had previously existed. Have you seen that? Do you need that sent to you so at least you have a reference?
I can feel free to send it to me so I have it, but at the same time, none of those things were approved correctly. So technically in the eyes of the law department, they don't exist.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad you found that out. A little bit about the public art. This is something for the Infrastructure Committee to think about. But, in talking about our public art collection and how that ties in with the public art policy, part of the things that we have to decide on is the process by which we accept pieces into our public art collection. And I was thinking, I don't know if naive is the word, but I was thinking that the public art collection represented the sum total of the art pieces that's owned by the city of Norwalk. But I come to find out that that is totally inaccurate. The city of Norwalk has a pretty extensive art collection that's divided up into several different gallery collections. One of them is the gallery collection it's controlled by the Norwalk Historical Commission. And that's like 1,600 pieces. And they have something like 700 museum quality pieces that are controlled under the Norwalk Historical Society through the, and that's in addition to our public art collection. And, finding out about that, a lot of our public art collection, we were talking about photographing that stuff. Well, a lot of that stuff is in storage with the Historical Commission mixed in with their pieces of their collection. And it's very, very confusing to try to keep track of our collection when it's interspersed with their collection, which is massive. So I've been talking to David Westmoreland about the idea of creating a uniform inventory of all of Norwalk City-owned art pieces, regardless of whether it's Arts Commission that controls a portion or the Historical Society that controls a portion.
A great idea.
So I think, and if we create that cohesive inventory, then that inventory would then get represented on our city website and really be a more comprehensive collection. And I feel like, and that's it's going to be a collaborative process working with David Westmoreland and his staff and working with the various other, like historical, especially, even like the Norwalk Public Library has their own collection of art. That's owned by the city, but it's their collection. The Board of Education owns certain art pieces that's in their collection. So it's like, it's a very disjointed sort of thing. It's all owned by the city, but it's all controlled in this like separate sort of fiefdom.
But Mark, what's on the website then? Because if you go on the website, you can click on that and all the artwork comes up. Is that everything the city owns, or it's bits and pieces?
That's just bits and pieces.
That is only what, when I was working with this, it was told to me that that's what the Norwalk Arts Commission kind of manages. and that there's a year cutoff of 1950 or 1960, one of the two. I think it's 50, and everything above 1950 that's newer is something that we work with. The Historical Commission works with the rest of the items. And so, yes, these items are sort of divided and also in the same place. Hence why when I did get the list of the inventory stuff, and I think I sent that Excel spreadsheet to Mark, that is something that the Historical Society also has in their database. So that way they can manage their pieces. So you have to work with them as well whenever you're trying to update any of that inventory.
And to Melissa's point and her credit, she's the one who said, when she said, oh, you might want to be careful in how you try to manipulate that data or pull pieces out of it, because it's a system that works with the historical system, society's system. And I realized that this is a database that they have. And I'm basically, when I spoke to David about the idea of integrating all of the independent collections into one city-owned collection, he was all in favor of it. He just wanted to make sure that we weren't trying to sort of take their control of their collection away. That's certainly not my goal.
Mark, may I make a suggestion that be something that you guys consider as a budget item, to hire a consultant to actually take the photos and make one holistic inventory for the city of Norwalk that includes all of that stuff, so that you guys aren't.
We're gonna have,
That sounds good to me.
we're gonna have to wait and see if we get that rollover money or ask for it for 21, 22, because we don't have a lot of money in
No, that's what I'm saying.
versus.
Asking
Mark?
for 21, 22.
There's also artwork that doesn't belong to us that we have been trying to get the people to either sign off on it, that they're giving it to us, or get it out of our venue.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
And we also,
that's part of the public art policy issue.
Right.
and don't we have to, Helen, make sure we actually have the stuff still, because didn't Ziggy take a lot of his stuff away?
They were taking it, he was taking it and putting it back and playing, but Carol's stuff also is around, and she's never, owned up to that.
So this in general, I think is really going to be an important thing for the infrastructure committee to work on, as a matter of updating our public art collection. And, the fact that it's all owned by the city of Norwalk, this is just on my personal feeling, but I feel like it should all be defined as public art collection, regardless of who controls it, or, but that's my opinion. But I think in general, it's important for the city to have this sort of unified, list of all their artwork, because we do happen to own a massive collection of art pieces. The city does. I mean, people don't have any idea about that. And I feel like pushing this idea that Norwalk is Connecticut's city of the arts. I mean, when you look at all the art that we own as a city, it's massive, and people need to be aware. So that's.
Do you know how many pieces there are, or how many pieces fall under our kind of jurisdiction, the Arts Commission?
There are 1,500 pieces that they had commissioned someone to inventory prior to me coming on, and there are more than that. So I just know there are 1,500 that they had someone inventory. So who knows what we actually do have.
So I know.
Order that stuff.
What's that?
Where is it?
So when you look at the inventory, there's a list of like 5 major locations. One is the firehouse, one is the train station, one is City Hall, one is, someone can someone please help me out? I
know that a number of our pieces, David Westmoreland told me a number of our pieces are in storage with their pieces, which I believe are in the basement of the Norwalk Historical Society on East Avenue.
And I don't think those have been inventoried.
What?
I do not think those have been inventoried. I don't think those pieces are in that inventory list. Most of what's in that inventory list are things that are currently on display or are like large sculptures, or they're not things that you would find in a basement.
Well, I was thinking like what I was told is that they were like, they have all the paintings and all the pictures and things like that, and they're all wrapped. So that's part of the problem of going there to doing inventory and doing, photographs, is that there's just would be a massive physical job for somebody to do that.
Yeah, that's why the suggestion to have this be done by somebody else that we're paying for makes it a lot not only easier on all of us, but also will probably end up being more comprehensive. So
Yeah.
I agree with Melissa, and that these people would be people who know how to handle art and what art needs, because there's lots of restoration problems and many, many things that fall into that category, that the person has to know what they're doing.
Oh, there's the large collection in the transit district building. They have all those other murals, and then they have all that other artwork they've collected.
The bus station.
Yeah, if you go in South Norwalk, where like
the
I
train
think it's a
station
transit.
has all those cute pewter pieces, and then they also have the people that are on the walls as you're going underneath the train tracks.
Yes.
So those are all inventoried in the inventory.
Yeah, those are domains. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that offline, as far as like the transition with the infrastructure committee, regardless of who's going to be heading that up, I would just say that this is something that you guys should be dealing with, and I'm certainly here to help you in any way that I can.
Is this just so we have a knowledge of where these things are and what they are in case we use them for an exhibit or something along those lines, or just knowing what our assets are, kind of?
Yeah, in the database that Melissa shared with me, which I'll make sure is shared with everyone else, there are locations listed, and then in exploring that, understanding that, that's when I started speaking to David Westmoreland to find out that about all these other collections that exist, and and so we just want to make sure we want to make sure we know where all of this stuff is, essentially.
Mark, when you say they control the work, the various groups, what does that mean? Like they have possession of it, they have to reside, the art has to reside where it's controlled?
Yeah, essentially they decide where it gets displayed, and they're in charge of the storage, maintenance, all the issues that go along with maintaining an art collection.
Also, like us, they also, if something gets damaged, then they might connect with the artist and seeing how to get that repaired. Or even when I was doing the inventory and I was going through, I'm like, hang on, I can't find these pieces. And it's because the pieces were no longer there. So those are the things that they keep track of, is where is their inventory? Is it okay? One of the other things I saw is that one of the pieces was a hazard. It was actually about to fall, or it could have fallen off its base, and that could have been a liability. So, I mean, there are a number of different things that while we have inventory, we just need to be aware of.
Now, does Parks and Rec go and look at, the sculptures that are outside just to make sure they're okay? If they're not going to do that, or they're not really doing that unless somebody says, oh, that's going to fall over?
They hadn't, like, for instance, they didn't notice the one in Washington Park that was almost off its base, and it was the large Carol Eisner one that could have hurt someone, or someone could have played on it and we'd have had a big issue. So when we were doing the inventory, I mentioned it, and they said, oh, we'll send someone out, and they repaired the base immediately the next week. So, I mean, they will get it taken care of. It's just that they're not overseeing the artwork.
I want to point out something about the historical collection. For instance, there used to be a museum in Sono, Norwalk Museum was in the old City Hall building. When they closed that museum, there were a number of art pieces involved, but there were a lot of other types of artifacts and, you know, historical items. So that stuff all went to the Historical Society, and they were in charge of like closing down. David Westmoreland specifically was in charge of closing down that museum and getting everything into storage, getting it all cataloged and so on. And included with that is a lot of art pieces that in theory could have gone to us, but they just basically kept it together as like one collection that's in storage. And hopefully it will see the light of day again, you know. You know, I keep saying, oh, we need a Norwalk Art Museum. So who knows, maybe one day.
What is that building being used for now?
I don't know. Sabrina, do you know what's in there now?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't even know if the city owns it at this point. Okay, I don't have any updates on the Walk Bridge project other than the fact that the city has now submitted, I worked with DPW, I got a tour of the bridge. They submitted a list of items to the city requesting certain structural materials to become available for future art projects. So we requested like a mix of some of the steel from the rails, some of the structural pieces, some of the switching, the signage. I worked with David Westmoreland, and we just chose a sort of a generalist thing, an amount of this material to be salvaged for art and educational purposes. It remains to be seen, and I'm sure they'll give it to us, but what remains to be seen is if the city is going to be willing to store it pending any sort of future arts project. So it's a bit of a TBD, and it's probably going to take, this project has been so many years in the making. It's kind of hard to predict when that material will actually become available. And then we would have to do a capital budget request for any sort of future art project anyway. So just to let you know that's something. When I heard about that bridge and I heard about the educational material that they were going to be pulling, I went and met with them and said that we wanted to request some material for art purposes as well. So I don't know if it'll be one installation or if it'll be 10 installations. It's all sort of TBD right now. But I sort of envisioned when I saw the out in Veterans Park, they have some large steel or iron sculptures. I was imagining something like that, some sort of sculpting piece, maybe something involving the steel rails. I'm not looking to curate that. I'm just putting it out there. If it's something that somebody else wants to run with, as far as like you guys who are more physically artistic want to come up with any ideas, it's certainly something we could consider. And we could work with Sabrina to put in a capital budget request for what we would do with this material. And Sabrina, do you have anything to add to that?
No.
All right. Bob, do you have any update on the Maritime Gallery?
Yeah, we have a show running now. It's a virtual show. It's called Voice. And
Voice?
Yeah, Voice. VOICE. It's a show to support voting on November 3rd, encouraging everyone to share their voice. So the artwork has been pretty interesting coming in. Hopefully you guys are all following the Maritime Garage Gallery. I post daily as long as submissions are coming in. So there's a daily post, and it goes on the Instagram and the Facebook page. And there's everything from illustrations to fine art to photography. The Defacement show, which is intended to be a live in-person show, that's been postponed. And I don't think it's going to go on until maybe next year. As you know, with COVID, there's really, it's a small space, so it's really not realistic to do an art opening at the Maritime Garage Gallery. But we'll continue with the virtual show. So this is the second virtual show. The first one was Strength Through Unity. This one's Voice, and then I'll continue to do the virtual shows every quarter.
Has there been any social posting on the Norwalk Arts Commission supporting the Voice show?
Yeah, so there's actually a PR firm, and they're doing a lot of press, and I know that the Arts Commission they do repost a lot. I don't remember every one that's been reposted, but they do repost. And I asked Michelle to promote, which she does, so she's been supportive.
Okay. Okay, that's only presented online, correct?
Yeah, it's a virtual show. Yep.
Okay.
All virtual.
Is
Okay.
the artwork up if you go and park your car there? Or is it just,
No, it's only virtual because we can't get in the offices and all. They don't want people in there.
Okay.
So basically, I get submissions electronically, and I post on the story and I post on the Instagram account only. So it's virtual.
because I'm wondering if you had like a little video, like maybe 5 minutes of each of the photos that maybe Michelle can put it on the Facebook page to just continue, like have it archived or something.
Yeah, so what I do at the end of the show, I create a video. So the Strength Through Unity show, there's a 5-minute long video of all the submissions. So it's kind of like a full art show in video format. So I'll do the same with the voice show.
Okay, we'll make sure she posts it if you didn't post the other one.
Okay, it's on the Facebook page and Instagram. I'll ask her to do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
this way all your work is being showcased that you're doing with the gallery.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Very cool. I'm just sorry. My camera keeps going in and out, so I don't know if you guys noticed that. Sorry about that. I'm just looking at the agenda to see if there's anything that we missed.
That box.
Oh yes, new business. So there is actually a. Let's move on to new business. We have like just a few minutes here. Bob, as you guys know, we had approved that artwork for the traffic box at 64 Wall Street that was in the alley by the Wall Street Theater. We ran into some issues over a lawsuit with the owner of the land that box is on. It may or may not have impact on, it's not really impacted by the painting, but it's an issue that legal department has yet to give us an opinion on. It's not something we want to get embroiled in. So what we've decided to do is take the budget from that particular traffic box and move the location. We've chosen another box to replace that box. And we've chosen the box by the Webster lot in Sono. There had been a painting there in years past from a very long time ago. Most of the paint is peeling off and it looks terrible anyway. It's something I've wanted to get changed.
Which one is that?
That's right at the entrance of the movie theater parking lot in South Norwalk, behind 50 Washington, on the very start of MLK Boulevard.
Which one, is it the one? I'm just trying to picture it in my mind because there's the one that's looks like where the wild things are, and then there's another one.
It's not that
like
one. It's basically like when you're going down West Avenue and the road splits to go to Sono or South Norwalk, or you go towards MLK. It's right in that first stretch of road. It's the entrance to the parking lot.
Oh, okay.
There's a traffic box right there, and the paint is all peeling off. It looks like a painting that somebody almost half finished and never really finished.
Was that the one with a whale on it?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I think so. If we were going with the same design, we wouldn't need to have this conversation. But because when the box location got changed, Bob asked if he could change the design. He wants to do actually he was curating it. Leslie, his girl, was going to be the artist. They've come up with a new concept they want to present, which is a Maya Angelou tribute, and that requires us to approve it as the Arts Commission. So I've asked him to present it to us. Bob, were you able to come up with a sketch for your new concept?
We did, yeah. So we're both gonna do this box if it's approved. I'm sharing my screen. Let me know if you guys can see it. You know, being on MLK Boulevard, we wanted to do something that was befitting in that area. So Maya Angelou, we think is really a terrific person to put on the box. So can you guys see that I'm sharing there, the renderings? Okay,
Yeah.
great. So we wanted to do her portrait and then incorporate some of her quotes. She has really terrific quotes. And you can see around her, I'll show you different views, and then there's one in color. But there's doves and hearts that are kind of around her, and there's a rainbow in the bottom.
I love it.
Well, like one of her quotes there, it says, "Try to be a rainbow in someone's cloud." It is time for parents to teach young people early on that in diversity, there is beauty and there is strength.
Beautiful.
Let me show you a couple other views. Yeah, she's really like a remarkable woman when you kind of, when you research her background and really everything that she's done with civil rights, and she's written 7 autobiographies. And you know, I don't know if you guys know, but I Know Why the Caged Bird Sing, that came from her as well. So this is another view here. This is a diversity one where you have the 2 hands that are planting, kind of planting this tree in the ground. And it says, "Love recognizes no barriers." And then on the other panel, we have, "I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings." And they have that's why we have like the doves flying all around. And the hearts and the flowers.
So we're seeing you just showed us 4 sides of the same box, right?
Right.
Great.
And then we did a really quick color sketch, but again, this is just a sketch. You know, it'll be a tighter.
Yeah. I like it. I like it a lot.
You know, it's up right on MLK Boulevard. Yeah, you could see the diversity of the 2 hands there.
I'm jealous that this is not going to be on Wall Street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Bob, pending approval, there is still time for you to paint this weather-wise in October?
Yeah, we got to get going on it. That's why, you know, the one at the Wall Street Theater was delayed, and I wanted to really get a box in this year if we could. So I'm glad that this one came available. And as long as this gets approved, we'll get on it right away. I'll prime it this weekend and we'll get going.
So if you were to abstain from this vote, do we have 6 members here present, Sabrina?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I like the box a lot. For myself, I really think it's a really terrific design. Is there a nomination to approve the box for the new location?
I'll nominate it. Make a motion to approve the design as presented.
Is that Emerson?
Peter Smith.
Peter. Okay. Is there a second on that nomination?
7 o'clock.
Are we gonna get cut off?
I'll second it.
Get cut off, but we need to wrap it up.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay. Can we get a roll call vote for this is Mark Allen with I.
Emerson, this is I.
Peter Smith, aye.
Helen, I.
Nori, aye.
Matthew, I.
Bob, aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's 7 ayes. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Bob. I look forward to your painting. Any idea when you're going to get this done?
We'll hope to get it done in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Will you keep me updated? Because I'd love to get some photographs in process and then before and after. I think that would be really good to document the process for our social media.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, thank you very much. I believe that's all we have. Anything else before we sign off? We didn't really discuss the Sono Arts Festival. There's not going to be time. By the way, the Sono Arts Festival, they're doing a mini version of the Sono Arts Festival. It's going to be on Washington Street only this weekend and the following weekend. I had hoped that we could possibly get an Arts Commission banner printed in time, but being that we would have to vote on that, and I don't think there's going to be time to actually get it printed in time, unless anybody else has any other. Sabrina, we had last voted on the previous Arts Festival, right? We didn't vote on this one, correct?
You don't necessarily need to vote to do that. You could just do it.
We can
Yeah,
just
we
do it.
voted for we did vote for the Norwalk Arts Festival.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Is there anybody here with some graphic skills that could work with me to get a banner designed in the next day or so?
Sure, I'll do it.
Okay, awesome. Then I'm going to be involved to a degree.
And with old business, do we know where,
I'm sorry?
I was gonna say, do we know anything about the vote banners? What's going on with them?
Vote banners?
Yeah, the
Oh.
ones that Brian are working on?
Yeah, we were hoping to get an update from Brian, but he wasn't able to be here today. So I'm going to have to get an update offline, and I'll email everyone with what's happening with that.
Those were supposed to go up October 1st, Mark.
Yeah, I know. He's been looking for locations. That's as much as I know. They were supposed to go up at the library. I have to get an update on that, and I'll update everybody offline.
So they're all printed and ready to go, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I'm going to have to assume as well. I don't have any other information on that.
I don't either, and I don't know who's paying for the printing, so I think the library is.
Okay.
And no, nothing's come through about us paying our share of it.
I
I'll
mean,
reach out to-
we've paid $300 of it.
Oh, okay.
I'll reach out to Chris Bradley. By the way, Christine Bradley is retiring, and we don't know who's taking her place yet, but I could still reach out to her and find out an update from her on that in the meantime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
they should be going up or one should go up at City Hall somewhere.
We might not be able to because of
yeah,
the polling place.
Really?
Yep.
yeah, because of the polling place issue.
They're also a little finicky about hanging anything nearby City Hall unless it's right on the front of it, and that already has the whatever symphony banner or whatever is there.
Bummer.
Yeah, but also City Hall is basically closed unless it's by appointment. So
Yeah.
other than people driving by at 50 miles an hour, there's not a lot of traffic there anyway.
Would the DMV put one up?
I'm
That's a
not
good
sure
spot.
because it's a state building. I'm not
Maybe
sure.
we can ask Bob Duff if he can find out if they can put it up.
You certainly are welcome to get involved.
I put political lawn signs there, and they were properly taken down. So
Well, this is general, just to vote, not to vote for a certain person. It's just vote. I don't know what
Yeah.
What about at the library?
Well, the emails that I've been following that they were looking to have one hung at the Sono Library, and I believe Christine was going to hang one at Belden. So I believe that those are both happening.
And Emerson, you said that we can't hang it at Lockwood's, but doesn't the city own Lockwood?
No.
yeah, well, it's like a lease kind of thing, but that fence right there is very popular because Lockwood shares it with the Stepping Stones Museum, and the other place doesn't really put many signs there, but Lockwood usually has at least one or two signs there, and then Stepping Stones always has their things going on. So like whenever there would be a sign that would be taken down, I was always told like go put a new sign up ASAP because the space is so popular for those two entities to be sharing it all the time. So I don't think they would like that. If another sign were to pop up there, they'd probably have the new facilities guy tear it down right away.
You think we could approach Stepping Stones for permission? Because I know Lockwood is such a.
It's possible. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, Lockwood is a bit tough to deal with sometimes, but yeah,
The only-
maybe stepping stones.
We gotta give.
Would Diane Jellorette, if we asked her, because they were gonna get the patio fixed in front of the museum, maybe there's a way to hang it there? I'm just trying to think of places where,
I think they're looking into doing the green in both libraries, and that's the 3 banners.
oh, okay.
Oh,
I don't know
Three
how far
libraries?
that's gotten along, but yeah.
oh, row 8 in this one.
No, they're doing both libraries, the South Norwalk Library and the main branch library, and then the green.
Oh, they're gonna be able to do it at the green?
Hopefully, I mean, that's what they're looking into, so I don't know.
Okay. All right, so I'll find out offline from Brian and I'll update everybody. Okay, in the absence of any other stuff, and we've gone through the agenda, thank you very much for everybody's patience. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'll motion to adjourn.
This is Melissa, I second.
And this is Mark Allen with an I. Other members by name, please.
Peter Smith, aye.
Emerson Striniti, aye.
Aye.
Matthew Callahan, aye.
All right. And Helen? Bob?
Yeah, I said aye.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a great night. I'll follow up with everybody offline.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark.
And I'll follow up with you, Bob, on the vice chair and infrastructure.